The autumn night wind in Seoul felt like thousands of invisible needles piercing through the surface of the skin, but it did absolutely nothing to cool down Yin's mind, which felt like it was about to explode. She let out a long sigh, rubbed her exhausted face, and fixed her reading glasses that had slipped down her nose. The stack of thesis revision papers inside her backpack felt heavier than usual. Being one of the top-ranked students at one of Seoul's prestigious universities was not a privilege that came without a price. To her, it was a matter of survival. As an orphan with no siblings, Yin was painfully aware that she had no safety net. If she fell, there would be no family member's hand to catch her. She had to graduate on time with perfect grades in order to secure a strategic position at a well-known company. There was no room for weakness, let alone failure. Her tired steps suddenly came to a stop as she entered the dimly lit campus parking area. Yin's eyes widened instantly. Under the flickering streetlight, the silhouette of a tall, well-built man could be seen messing with the keyhole of her faded blue scooter. The impulsiveness and stubbornness deeply rooted inside Yin immediately took over her common sense. The panic of losing her only valuable possession made her blood boil. Without thinking twice, Yin rushed toward him, took off the heavy full-face helmet she was holding, and swung it with all her strength toward the man. "Hey, you bastard, get your filthy hands off my bike," Yin screamed right before the helmet slammed into the man's jaw with a terrifying bang. The man staggered, groaned in pain, and collapsed onto the asphalt while holding his mouth. Fresh blood slowly seeped between his fingers. "Are you crazy? My tooth, you crazy woman. What the hell did you just do?" The man cursed with a muffled voice, glaring at Yin with burning anger. "This is my bike, damn it. Don't even think about lying to me, you amateur thief. This is obviously..." Yin's words got stuck in her throat. Her eyes shifted to the right side, right beside the motorcycle she had been defending this whole time. A faded blue scooter identical to hers was parked there perfectly. There was a small Pororo sticker on its mirror. It was her bike. Yin swallowed hard, staring in horror at the man who was still groaning while holding his jaw. Oh my god, I'm sorry, our bikes." However, before Yin could finish her clumsy apology, 4 large men wearing neat black suits emerged from the shadows. They moved quickly, without making a single sound. "Young Master Dojin," one of them shouted in panic after seeing the man on the ground. The other 2 men immediately grabbed both of Yin's arms roughly. "Let go of me, I can explain. This is just a misunderstanding. Our bikes look exactly the same," Yin shouted, struggling with the little strength she had left. But it was useless. A black cloth was pulled over her head, blocking her vision, and a second later, she was forcibly dragged into a black van. Time seemed to lose its meaning for Yin. When the cover over her head was finally pulled away, she found herself sitting tied to an old iron chair. The only light in the room came from a single dim bulb hanging from the ceiling. The walls were made of rough concrete with no windows. The atmosphere was suffocating, yet the air temperature was as cold as a meat freezer. Yin trembled, her teeth chattering, not purely because of fear, but because of the freezing cold that pierced her bones. The iron door at the end of the room creaked open. The sound of leather dress shoes tapping rhythmically against the concrete floor echoed, creating a very real psychological terror. A figure stepped out from the darkness toward the edge of the light. Yin held her breath. The man, Jungkook, wore a pitch black shirt with the top to buttons left undone, revealing a faint tattoo near his collarbone. His face looked like it had been carved by a Greek god, his jaw sharp, yet his eyes carried a cold and intimidating aura. He was the true embodiment of deadly danger. Jungkook pulled out a wooden chair and sat across from Yin, crossing one leg elegantly. He said nothing for an entire minute, only staring at Yin with the sharp gaze of an eagle ready to tear apart its prey. "So," Jungkook's voice finally echoed, heavy, deep, and terrifyingly calm. "This is the girl who almost made my little brother lose all his front teeth over something stupid." Yin hugged herself, pulling her thin jacket closer. She stared back at Jungkook, and instead of crying hysterically, she let out a small scoff. "Excuse me, Mr. Boss, or whatever your title is." Yin's voice was hoarse, but somehow she found the courage to say it. "Before you decide to dump my body into the Han River or torture me, can you please turn down the AC in this room? I'm literally freezing to death. And, if you're not too busy trying to scare me, can your guys make me a cup of black coffee? I still have to finish my chapter for revisions tonight. My thesis advisor is basically the reincarnation of a demon, and honestly, they're way scarier than you." Silence slowly spread through the room. The air seemed to freeze instantly. Jungkook stared at the girl in front of him with a slight frown, completely not expecting such an absurd response. "Are you seriously complaining about the facilities in your own execution room? I'm an orphan, Yin quickly replied, lifting her chin stubbornly, refusing to look weak. I don't have any family who would cry over my death or pay any ransom for me. But I do have a 3.9 GPA that I need to protect so I can get a job right after graduation and not starve to death. So yeah, if I'm gonna die tonight, at least let me die somewhere warm and not half asleep. Jungkook let out a quiet scoff, the corner of his lips twitching as if he was almost about to smirk. Before he could throw out his next threat, a ringtone suddenly cut through the tension. Jungkook closed his eyes for a moment, let out a long sigh filled with exhaustion, and grabbed his phone. The word mom flashed on the screen. He swiped to answer the call. Yeah, mom. His deadly voice had now turned flat and almost defeated. The loud voice of a middle-aged woman immediately exploded from the other side of the phone, loud enough that Yin, sitting several meters away, could hear every single word clearly. Jeon Jungkook, how long are you planning to keep embarrassing your own mother, huh? Director Choi's daughter cried all night because you rejected her straight to her face at the restaurant. You didn't even bother sitting down with her. Mom, I'm busy. I have some work stuff that. What work? Torturing people in some basement? I don't care about your stupid work. Listen to me carefully. You're already 25 years old. If you keep rejecting every decent girl from the families I introduce you to, then at least bring your own girlfriend. If you don't bring a girl in front of me this week, I swear I'll burn down your secret headquarters along with all those useless men working for you. Jungkook rubbed the bridge of his nose, which suddenly started throbbing. His eyes slowly lifted, looking straight at Yin, who was still busy rubbing her palms together for warmth, as if the mother and son argument happening in front of her was nothing more than a drama show on television. I already have a girlfriend, Mom, Jungkook said calmly, but his eyes sharply locked onto Yin's wide, shocked eyes. What? You're not just making that up to get away from me, are you? Who is she? Bring her to the house tomorrow night. I want to see her myself. Yeah, I'll bring her as soon as I can. Jungkook ended the call without waiting for a response and put his phone back. Silence took over the room again, but this time, it felt much more terrifying for Yin. Jungkook stood up from his chair. He slowly walked toward Yin, stopping right in front of her knees. He leaned down, placing both hands on the armrests of the iron chair Yin was sitting on, completely trapping her beneath his shadow. The masculine scent of his perfume, a mix of cedarwood and musk, filled the air, intoxicating, yet dangerous. You have 3 choices, Jungkook whispered, his voice so low that it felt like it was shaking the air around them. First, I'll hand you over to the police for assault and attempted murder against my brother. You'll go to prison, get kicked out of college, and say goodbye to your precious GPA and your future. Or second. Jungkook paused, staring directly into Yin's eyes, which were starting to fill with panic. I'll punish you myself in this room, my way. Please, Yin's voice trembled badly, all her stubbornness disappearing in front of a real threat that could destroy her dreams. It was completely an accident. I'll pay your brother's dental bills little by little, no matter how much it costs. Please don't ruin my future. A small, cold smile appeared on Jungkook's lips. Or the last option. He leaned his face closer. Be my girlfriend. Meet my mom. Pretend to be my girlfriend perfectly. The choice is yours, smart student. Yin stared at the face only a few centimeters away from hers, her breathing getting heavier. Her eyes moved between Jungkook's dark, night-like eyes and the faint smirk resting on his lips. Her sharp mind moved quickly, weighing the risks between spending time in a cold prison cell with her future destroyed or stepping into the lion's den of this mafia man. Girlfriend? Yin finally spoke, her laugh sounding awkward and forced. You've got to be kidding me. I literally just hit your brother with a helmet until his teeth almost fell out, and now you're asking me to pretend to be your mom's dream daughter-in-law? What kind of logic is that? Jungkook didn't move his face away. Instead, he deepened his intimidating stare. I don't joke about business, Miss Yin. For me, this is the most efficient solution. My mom gets what she wants. I get away from this ridiculous arranged marriage. And you get your freedom back, along with that perfect GPA of yours. 1 month, just 30 days. Yin clenched her fists beside the chair, trying to gather whatever courage she had left. And after 1 month, you guarantee there won't be any police charges, no revenge from your brother, and I can go back to my normal, peaceful life. I keep my word, Jungkook replied as he straightened his posture, once again displaying his commanding and dignified presence. But remember, if you mess this up in front of my mom even once, the punishment waiting for you will be far worse than a prison wall. So, what's your answer? Yin closed her eyes for a moment, cursing her unbelievably terrible luck tonight. When she opened them again, determination had returned to her beautiful face. Fine, 30 days. 2 days later, Yin's life had changed 180 degrees. She never imagined she would step foot inside the most luxurious salon in Gangnam, surrounded by 3 stylists who were busy transforming her appearance from a sleep-deprived, nerdy college student into an elegant, high-class woman. An ivory white silk dress wrapped around her body perfectly, while the light yet classy makeup highlighted her natural beauty that had always been hidden behind her oversized hoodies. When the door of the luxurious van opened in front of a magnificent mansion that looked like a palace on the outskirts of Seoul, Yin felt her heart pounding violently. Jungkook was already waiting outside, wearing a formal suit that made him look several times more captivating, yet dangerous. The man extended his hand, a gesture that demanded obedience. Yin accepted his hand, feeling Jungkook's large, warm palm covered with slight calluses, a proof of the dark world he lived in. "Your hands are really rough," Yin whispered softly as they walked inside. "Just focus on your role," Jungkook replied without looking back, though his grip around Yin's hand tightened slightly. Inside the grand living room, Dojin sat on one of the sofas with his jaw wrapped in thick bandages. His eyes immediately widened with anger when he saw Yin entering while holding hands with his older brother. He was about to stand up and curse, but one sharp look from Jungkook instantly made him shrink back into his seat. "If you even open your mouth about that night, Dojin, I'll make sure the rest of your teeth go missing too," Jungkook threatened in a voice that was calm yet deadly. Dojin could only swallow nervously and nod in defeat, forced to go along with this ridiculous act. "Oh my goodness, so this is the girl you told me about, Jungkook?" A high-pitched voice filled with excitement broke the tension. Jungkook and Dojin's mother, a middle-aged woman who radiated an elegant yet warm aura, hurried toward them. Her face lit up with pure relief as she looked at Yin. "You're so pretty. Why did this stiff son of mine hide such a beautiful girl from me for so long?" Yin forced the sweetest smile she could manage and bowed politely. "Hello, ma'am. My name is Yin. I'm sorry I could only visit now because I've been busy with college." "It's okay, sweetheart. College is important. Come inside. I already asked the maids here to prepare an amazing dinner for you too," his mother said, immediately pulling Yin away from Jungkook and treating her like the daughter-in-law she had been waiting for all this time. Jungkook's father, who was sitting at the end of the dining table, also welcomed her with a warm nod, creating a family atmosphere that was completely opposite from Jungkook's dark world. The following days passed like a confusing whirlwind for Yin. Jungkook's promise to maintain this act surprisingly involved the man's constant presence in her everyday life. Every afternoon, a luxurious black sedan would be parked at the corner of the street near her campus, waiting for Yin to finish her classes or thesis meetings. "You don't have to pick me up every single day like this, Mr. Jeon," Yin said one day right after getting into the car, throwing her heavy backpack onto the back seat. "People in my department are starting to spread rumors that I have some rich guy keeping me around." Jungkook started the engine without taking his eyes off the road. "Let them talk. It's actually good for our relationship's credibility if my mom secretly sends people to spy on us." He then held out a paper cup with a famous coffee shop logo toward Yin. "Black coffee. No sugar. Drink it before your brain shrinks because of your thesis." Yin froze for a moment, accepting the warm cup with a strange feeling slowly creeping into her chest. "You actually remember how I like my coffee?" "I don't like repeating the same information twice," Jungkook replied flatly, though a playful glint was hidden in his eyes. For Jungkook himself, simple moments like driving through Seoul's traffic with Yin or having dinner at small street food places usually visited by college students, because of Yin's stubborn demands, became an escape he never expected to enjoy. In Jungkook's dark world, every interaction was always based on transactions, betrayal, or bloodshed. But with Yin, the girl who boldly scolded him for putting his chopsticks down wrong or complained about her annoying professor, Jungkook felt like an ordinary person. It was as if he had found someone sincere, someone who didn't see him as a feared boss or a business partner, but simply as Jungkook. The forced closeness between them slowly started tearing down Yin's walls. Behind her image of always being strong, tough, and independent as an orphan, there was a deep emptiness she had carefully hidden away. Until one night in the 3rd week, a heavy rainstorm poured over Seoul. Jungkook drove Yin back to her apartment after dinner. When the car stopped, Yin didn't immediately get out. She leaned against the window, staring at the raindrops with an empty and incredibly fragile expression. "What's wrong?" Jungkook asked softly, breaking the silence that suddenly felt suffocating. Yin's shoulders trembled slightly. The tears she had been holding back finally fell, running down her pale cheeks. "My thesis advisor just sent me an email. He rejected the entire draft of Chapter 5 that I worked on all night without sleeping. I'm just so tired, Jungkook." Sometimes I hate having to always be strong. I hate the fact that if I fail, there won't be a single person in this world who will hug me and tell me everything is gonna be okay. Jungkook froze. He was used to seeing blood and tears of fear, but seeing tears of hopelessness from a girl who was usually as hard as a rock made his chest ache in a way he had never felt before. Without saying a word, Jungkook unfastened his seatbelt, moved closer, and pulled Yin into his arms. Yin froze for a moment, but the warmth of Jungkook's chest and the familiar masculine scent that had been comforting her lately made all of her defenses collapse. She grabbed onto Jungkook's black shirt, sobbing against him, letting out all the weight of the life she had carried alone for years. Jungkook said nothing. He only gently rubbed Yin's back in slow, rhythmic motions, giving her the protection she had never had before. That night, inside the car surrounded by the storm, the line between their fake contract and genuine emotion slowly began to blur without either of them realizing it. Time continued cruelly passing by until the 30th day finally arrived, the last day of their agreement. Yin stood in the middle of her luxurious apartment, the apartment that had become her home for the past month. Jungkook had forced her to move here from her studio apartment because his mother occasionally came just to check on Yin's condition. And tonight, because their fake lover contract was already finished, she was supposed to leave this apartment, which was provided by Jungkook. Tonight, she would return to her simple studio apartment and become the old Yin again. Yin looked at a velvet box filled with jewelry and several expensive dresses given by Jungkook's mother throughout the month. Everything had already been cleaned and neatly arranged to be returned. A deep sense of emptiness suddenly overwhelmed her heart, a feeling of loss she refused to admit. The apartment door opened after a short knock. Jungkook stepped inside wearing casual clothes, but his expression had returned to the same coldness he had when they first met in the basement. His eyes landed on the velvet box on the table, then shifted to Yin's backpack already prepared near the door. "Everything is already packed inside that box," Yin said, trying to keep her voice steady and professional, even though her chest felt tight as if the oxygen in the room had suddenly disappeared. "Our contract officially ends tonight, Mr. Jian. Thank you for protecting my future, and thank you for this past month. I hope you find the right woman for your mom." Yin stepped forward, grabbed her backpack, and walked past Jungkook toward the exit, intending to end this contract relationship before her feelings stepped too far into dangerous territory. However, right when her arm became level with the man's shoulder, a strong yet gentle grip suddenly locked around her wrist. Yin's steps stopped instantly. Before she could turn around, Jungkook pulled her arm with one strong motion, turning her body until her back hit the tightly closed wooden apartment door with a soft thud. Jungkook trapped Yin's small body with both arms, resting against the door beside her head. His heavy breathing felt warm and intense against the skin near Yin's temple. His dark eyes shimmered with emotion so deep, filled with hidden anger and absolute possessiveness. "Who gave you permission to say goodbye and walk out of the store, Miss Yin?" Jungkook whispered, his voice so low and dangerous that it sent a shiver through her entire body. Yin's eyes widened completely, her heart raced wildly, almost as if it wanted to break through her ribs. The air around her seemed to disappear under Jungkook's overwhelming and dominating presence. The cedarwood scent that usually calmed her now felt like a trap surrounding her. "Mr. Jian," Yin's voice came out as a fragile whisper, her hand instinctively pressing against his broad chest. 30 days are already over. Our agreement ended exactly at this moment. You can't. I can do whatever the hell I want." Jungkook cut her off quickly, his low growl carrying the aura of a leader who was never used to being refused. "That's the absolute advantage of being me. But for the first time in my life, I don't care about all that damn power. I only care about the fact that you're trying to leave me tonight." Yin swallowed hard, trying to look away from Jungkook's intense gaze. "We live in two completely different worlds, Jungkook." "You are." Yin hesitated for a moment, searching for the right words so she wouldn't provoke him. "You have a world full of danger, and I'm just an ordinary student trying my hardest to survive. This act needs to end before one of us forgets where reality ends and the fantasy begins." Jungkook removed one hand from the door, allowing his rough yet warm fingers to touch Yin's cheek. The softness of his touch was completely opposite to his cold-blooded reputation. His thumb gently brushed against her cheekbone. "And what if I told you that I already forgot where that line was? What if I told you that every time you laughed with me at that cheap little restaurant, every time you scolded me for the way I held my chopsticks, and every time you cried and showed me your fragile side in my arms, you unknowingly destroyed my entire world?" Yin's eyes became teary again. The warmth from Jungkook's touch seeped through her skin, weakening all the logic she had worked so hard to build. "You're just confused. Yin argued with a trembling voice, desperately trying to hold onto the wall of defenses that was about to collapse. You're just used to this routine. You're just enjoying the illusion of a normal life. Once I leave, you realize that I'm nothing but a burden that. Stop talking nonsense. Jungkook snapped loudly, but his eyes revealed a desperation that was completely exposed. His grip around Yin's waist tightened. You think I told Dojin to keep his mouth shut just because of my image in front of my mom? You think I willingly sat in the car for hours, fighting my sleep, just to watch you walk out of your faculty building? You think I enjoyed eating spicy food that burned my stomach if it wasn't because I wanted to see you smile? No, Yin. I did all of that because it was with you. Yin froze in silence, but her lips parted slightly as she tried to catch her breath. For the first time, Jungkook continued, his voice lowering into a hoarse whisper that cut deeply into her heart. I feel like a complete human being. Around me, there are only people who flatter me for money or look at me with fear and hatred. But you see me, Yin. You hit my brother with a helmet. You demanded black coffee when your life was literally on the line, and you never once lowered your gaze away from me. You see me as just a person, not someone you look at because of my position or reputation. Yin stared at Jungkook closely, watching the ice wall that had protected him for so long completely melt away. The emptiness in his eyes had been replaced by a silent plea. Jungkook, Yin called softly, letting go of all her defenses. Tears finally escaped and rolled down her cheeks. But I'm scared. I'm really scared. I don't have anyone in this world. If I enter your life and lose you, or if your enemies target me, I won't be able to survive. Jungkook lowered his head, resting his forehead against Yin's. Their breaths mixed together with no distance left between them. Then I'll become your family, Jungkook whispered with the last bit of his breath, making a promise that felt incredibly sacred. I'll be your protector, your home, the place you return to. Not a single bullet, not a single threat in this world will ever touch you as long as my heart is still beating. I swear on my own life, Yin. The night air slipping through the apartment window suddenly felt warmer. Yin blinked her wet eyes, allowing her tears to fall onto the back of Jungkook's hand that was still resting against her face. Then, what do you actually want from me now? Jungkook took a deep breath, staring directly into Yin's brown eyes. The charming little smirk slowly returned to his face, but this time there was no intimidation behind it, only overflowing affection. I don't want to cancel our contract. Yin's eyebrows furrowed in confusion, slightly pulling her face back. But the time is already over. Then we'll change the terms, Jungkook said with confidence. I want to erase the word fake from that agreement. Don't be my fake girlfriend, be my real girlfriend. This contract becomes permanent. Yin stared at him without blinking. Permanent? Yeah, no expiration date, no time limit, Jungkook insisted. Stay with me. Let me make sure you eat properly while working on that damn thesis. Let me deal with your advisor if he dares reject your draft again, and let me protect you from everything that makes you scared and anxious. A genuine laugh finally escaped from Yin's lips, sounding incredibly relieving as it broke through her tears. She lightly hit Jungkook's broad chest covered by his black shirt. You're seriously unbelievable. What kind of mafia boss tries to flirt with a girl using thesis revision threats? Only Jeon Jungkook, who's scared to death of losing his girl, Jungkook honestly replied, the corners of his eyes crinkling into a sincere smile that perhaps only Yin would ever get to see for the rest of her life. So, what's your answer, Miss Perfect GPA student? Are you accepting this contract update? Or do I have to order my men to kidnap you again and bring you back to that interrogation room? Yin smiled widely, a smile that instantly brightened every corner of the dim room. Without hesitation, she wrapped both of her arms around Jungkook's neck, looking into his eyes with courage and love that had just begun to bloom. The AC in that room seriously needs to be fixed before you ever threaten to take me there again. That sentence was more than just an answer for Jungkook. Without waiting for even a second, Jungkook closed his eyes, wrapped his arms protectively around Yin's waist, and lowered his head to meet her lips. The kiss happened so gently yet carried an undeniable longing. It was no longer about pretending, no longer about a survival transaction, but about completely giving themselves to each other. The kiss washed away all of Yin's fears, replacing them with the sense of safety she had always searched for alone. 3 days after that long night filled with confessions, the atmosphere inside Jungkook's secret headquarters felt slightly different. The room that was usually filled with tension and underground strategic plans was now decorated with the brutal sound of keyboard typing. Yin sat on Jungkook's oversized chair, wearing her reading glasses, staring at the laptop screen with a murderous expression. On top of the expensive mahogany desk, there were piles of Chapter 5 revision papers covered with red ink marks. Young master, one of Jungkook's men greeted. Dojin, who turned out to be one of Yin's juniors at college and was a first-year business student, stepped into the room hesitantly, staring at Yin, who was sitting on his brother's chair. Dojin swallowed hard, instinctively touching his jaw, which had already healed but still left painful memories every time he looked at the girl. "Where's my brother?" Yin didn't take her eyes away from the screen. "Your brother is making ramen for me downstairs. He said no one should bother him until the ramen egg is cooked perfectly." Dojin rolled his eyes and let out a quiet scoff. What kind of boss spends his time boiling eggs for a stressed-out college girl who keeps complaining? You're seriously ruining his terrifying reputation, you know? Yin suddenly stopped typing and looked sharply at Dojin. "Do you want your left jaw to end up the same way as your right jaw, Dojin?" Dojin immediately raised both hands in surrender and slowly stepped backward toward the door. "My bad, sister-in-law. Continue your revision. Hope your professor approves it soon." He immediately turned around and disappeared behind the metal door, right as Jungkook stepped inside carrying a tray with a steaming bowl of ramen and a large glass of Yin's favorite black iced coffee. Jungkook chuckled softly as he watched his younger brother run away. He placed the tray beside Yin's pile of papers, then leaned against the edge of the desk, looking at his girlfriend with an admiring gaze. "You scared my trusted members again, baby." He started it, Yin mumbled while enjoying the smell of the ramen broth. Her mind was briefly distracted from the headache of the academic world. "Thanks for the food, Mr. Jian. You might secretly have a talent for being a chef." Jungkook only chuckled softly while gently patting the top of Yin's head. Before Yin could even put the noodles into her mouth, Jungkook's phone, lying on the desk, suddenly rang loudly. Jungkook let out a long sigh, saw his mother's name flashing on the screen, and answered it with a small smile. He intentionally turned on the loudspeaker. "Jungkook, I just saw the newest autumn jewelry catalog. There's a pair of diamond rings that are absolutely gorgeous. When are you going to officially propose to Yin? Don't let such a good girl realize how brutal you are and run away from our mansion." Yin had to cover her mouth to stop herself from bursting into loud laughter, her shoulders shaking uncontrollably. Jungkook looked at Yin with a teasing and deadly gaze, then calmly replied to his mother, "Mom, you don't have to worry. This girl is too busy with her thesis to think about anything else. Once she graduates next month, I'll put that ring on her finger and make sure she can't run away anywhere for the rest of her life." Yin's eyes widened, her face instantly turning bright red after hearing such a straightforward statement. She lightly kicked Jungkook's shin from under the desk. "Good, I'm holding you to that promise. Starting tonight, I'm making a guest list for your wedding." The call ended. Jungkook laughed softly, his deep and vibrating laugh becoming a sound that was now addictive to Yin's ears. The man leaned closer, bringing his face level with Yin's, who was still blushing in annoyance but clearly flustered. "You heard her, right?" Jungkook whispered, stealing a light kiss on Yin's lips that were still pouting in protest. "Graduate quickly, Miss Yin. We have a lot of beautiful plans to make." Yin smiled, looking into the eyes of the man she once thought would become her worst nightmare, but who had now become the main reason behind her smile every single day. With the perfect GPA waiting for her at the end of the road, and a powerful man willing to kneel down and give her his entire world, Yin knew she would never feel alone again. She no longer needed a safety net because now, she had the strongest shelter in the world. The thunderous applause filling the university auditorium slowly faded away, but the euphoria inside Yin's chest only grew stronger. She walked down the stage steps with a light feeling in her breath, holding her graduation certificate tube tightly against her chest. The black graduation gown wrapped around her body felt like a royal robe, marking the end of countless sleepless nights and tears of frustration. The orphan student who once had to fight desperately just to survive had officially become the university's top graduate today, cum laude. She had conquered the harsh world of academics all by herself. No, starting from this moment, she was no longer fighting alone. The moment she stepped out through the double doors of the auditorium into the main lobby bathed in spring sunlight, Yin's eyes immediately landed on the small group that stood out the most among the sea of graduates. Jungkook's mother stood at the very front, waving her hand excitedly until the gold bracelets on her wrist jingled loudly. Beside her, Jungkook's father smiled warmly with his dignified posture, truly radiating the aura of a family leader. "That's my favorite daughter-in-law," Mrs. Jian shouted in her signature high-pitched voice, immediately rushing forward and hugging Yin so tightly that she almost ran out of breath. The middle-aged woman wiped the corner of her wet eyes with a tissue. "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart. You proved that you're not only beautiful, but also incredibly smart. That stiff son of mine is seriously lucky to have you." Yin laughed softly, returning the hug with affection. "Thank you, Mom. This is also because of everyone's support." Of course, Mr. Jian replied gently while lightly patting Yin's shoulder, giving her the fatherly look she had secretly longed for throughout her entire life. Behind the two parents, Dojin stood with his arms crossed, balancing a huge bouquet of flowers in his hands. He let out a quiet scoff, rolling his eyes at the emotional scene in front of him. "Can you please take this giant flower now, sister-in-law? My strong arms weren't trained through brutal days at the headquarters just to become a flower holder." Yin smiled in amusement, just about to reach out her hand to receive the large bouquet of red roses. However, before her fingertips could touch the flower petals, a figure in a pitch-black suit stepped forward with absolute dominance from behind Dojin. He took the bouquet with one hand, while his left hand immediately wrapped possessively around Yin's waist. Jungkook stared sharply at his younger brother. "Stop complaining like a spoiled kid, Dojin, or I'll make sure you train with real weapons tomorrow morning." Dojin immediately went silent, swallowing hard and taking a step back to find safety near his father. Jungkook's sharp gaze instantly softened warmly when his eyes returned to Yin. He tucked a loose strand of Yin's hair that had escaped from her graduation cap behind her ear. His face showed a pride he had never shown to anyone in his underground mafia world. "You look absolutely perfect today, my top graduate," Jungkook whispered softly, his voice sending a gentle vibration through the air around them. "Thank you, Jungkook," Yin replied with a bright smile, feeling like the luckiest woman in the world. "So, where is my real graduation gift?" Jungkook chuckled softly. He handed the giant bouquet of roses to his mother, who immediately accepted it happily. Then Jungkook slowly reached into the inner pocket of his suit. He pulled out a small dark blue velvet box. Without caring about the dozens of eyes watching them, Jungkook gently took Yin's left hand. Yin's breath caught when she saw the small box open, revealing a beautifully cut diamond ring that sparkled brilliantly under the sunlight. "Your thesis is finished, and your perfect GPA is completely safe now," Jungkook whispered as he slipped the ring onto Yin's ring finger, staring directly into the eyes of his lover, which were now filled with tears. "Now, let's build our dreams together, Miss Jian. Marry me, and let me protect you for the rest of my life." Accompanied by Mrs. Jian's excited cheers and the sincere smiles of Mr. Jian and Dojin, Yin gave a firm nod. She let her tears of happiness fall down her cheeks, right before Jungkook pulled her into his arms.